Hello and welcome. My name is Roger Quayle, and you are listening to My Life in the Mosh of Ghosts. Hello there, and welcome back to My Life in the Mosh of Ghosts with me, your host, Roger Quayle, and thank you for joining me. For today's episode, we're going back to the Limit on West Street in Sheffield, and for one of those nights where you go along to see a band whom you know nothing about, and it turns out to be a great evening. The band in question are from Japan, and they're called The Plastics. So here we go. It's The Plastics at the Limit Club on Thursday, the 14th of May, 1981. Lost my virginity. And my band. Some weekend. Both events had been foreshadowed for a while. But to have experienced the ecstasy and the agony within 24 hours has left me both delighted and disappointed, relieved and rejected. After much fleshy fumbling, with Amateur Hour by Sparks playing over and over in my head, Ava Green finally stripped me of my chastity early on Sunday morning, adding this sticky souvenir to her collection of pieces of me, just next to my heart, which I've been handing over to her in growing weekly increments since our first drunken dalliance a month ago. Come summer, she'll be kicking the tyres of my soul, looking to have complete ownership of me by my 21st birthday. Later, on Sunday afternoon, 2 years to the day since I joined DVA, the clocks stop. The conceptualists sack the cricket fans. Judd and Addy keep the name. Charlie, Paul and I keep the rehearsal room. So it's goodbye to the backstage bickering, umpiring who has or has not paid their share of rent, and the eulogies for the extended funk workouts of A Certain Ratio, when the trio in the pavilion end are more excited by the pace attack of Dead Kennedys and Crass. Farewell also to White Souls in Black Suits and Thirst. Brave little records of our hopes and fears. Who knows what strange foreign shores these scratchy messages in buoyant bottles will wash up on. But for now, it's time to calm the turmoil. No point wondering what might have been. Should've, would've and could've never played the Budokan. There are no less than 3 bass players on Charlie's gardening detail in the parks department. They must be easy to grow. Charlie thinks one of them, Terry, is the right man for our new band. All we need now is a singer and a name. Back at home, with Mum and Dad away on holiday in Weston-super-Mare, there is a naked woman in bed with their youngest offspring. A super nightmare for me if they ever find out. Thursday night, Ava and I decide to go to the Limit to see The Plastics, a Japanese new wave band I don't know much about, aside from a recent Paul Morley review in the NME. I think he likes them. Sometimes it is hard to tell with Morley's writing. I thought my Limit era, teenage nights seeing Joe Jackson, John Cooper Clarke and the Smirks, was well behind me. But Ava is a regular. She's a party girl who likes the alternative music mix, from the electropop of Einstein a Go-Go to the swashbuckling The Swords of 1,000 Men. She also likes the opportunity to get blotto after the pubs have closed. Still, a night out seeing a new band with my decadent girlfriend, lover, empress, and then back to mine for more drunken sex? Surely this is too good to be true. 5 petite plastics emerge onto the stage and peer out into the beery congregation. Here we are, clutching our pints of snakebite and lager tops, stomachs lined with chips in curry sauce, Scotch eggs, pork scratchings and other Western delicacies. Odorous, pasty-faced wastrels who wear shoes indoors, gawping at the exotic visitors from 6,000 miles away. During the Plastics' first UK tour, they've already sampled the delights of Edinburgh, Leeds and Norwich. Another night, another crowd. I'm sure we must all look the same to them. Sadistic Mika Band, Stomu Yamashita, Yellow Magic Orchestra. Names I know from the music press and record shop browsing, but I've never actually heard. Then there's poor Yoko Ono, still no one's favourite fifth Beatle, despite having just released the incredible Walking on Thin Ice. Tonight then is to be my introduction to Japanese pop music. Turns out I have chosen wisely, because the Plastics have come to party. They are 4 boys and a girl who shares lead vocals with one of the chaps. Dressed like a fire sale in a flag shop, they shimmer in a conflagration of polyester and acrylic. The girl, Chika, is striking and glamorous, an unsnuffable 10 million candle power charisma which she carries lightly, like a disposable lighter. Their songs, all new to us, are oddball but catchy, sung in what seems to be heavily accented Japanglish. I can't really make out the words. Maybe the bloke on the mixing desk is having a bad night. But it doesn't really matter, as the rhythms, with more sharp angles than a hall of mirrors, keep the Limit dance floor hopping. The Plastics love a percussion break. Cowbells clonk like a Jungfrau spring meadow. The Plastics' Dayglow kitsch reminds me of the B-52s, with whom they share both a record company and management. They brim with a nervous energy, like a subway full of salarymen before payday. They finish with One We Know, poking sharp sticks into the Monkeys' last train to Clarksville with demented glee. Chika flashes her billion-yen smile, and every lass in the Limit wants her as their new Japanese pen pal, while every lad wants to get lost in her empire of censors. And off they skip. Next stop, Heaven in London, leaving the Limit sweating like a sauna full of sumos. The Plastics have travelled from the other side of the world and have conquered 100 hearts in an English city they've never been to before. Which is proof enough to me that good music is universal, so doesn't need a translator or passport when it travels straight to your solar plexus. J-pop could be the next big thing. 3 months from now, Japanese Boy by Annika will come along and ruin it for everyone. The Plastics broke up at the end of 1981. Chika Sato went on to form Melon with Plastics bandmate and husband Toshio Nakanishi. He was diagnosed with cancer in 2016 and died the following year. fellow founder member Masahide Sakuma died in 2014. The Plastics music is not available on streaming services, but there is some great live stuff on YouTube if you want to track it down. You have been listening to My Life in the Mosh of Ghosts with me, your host, Roger Quayle. Thank you, as always, to Simon Elliott Kemp for the intro and outro music, and to Rena for the artwork. Join me again next time for another episode from My Life in the Mosh of Ghosts. This is your host, Roger Quayle, saying thank you and bye-bye.